Good evening. Welcome to the October 16th, 2025 meeting of the Northampton City Council. I'm Alex Jarrett, and I'll be presiding as Council President along with Vice President Rachel Maori. This meeting and all participating in person and on Zoom will be audio and video recorded, and the meeting can also be watched on Comcast Channel 15 and by streaming on Northampton Open Media's YouTube channel. I now call the City Council to order. Could you take the roll?
Sure. Councillor Dubbs.
Here.
Councillor Elkins.
Here.
Councillor Jarrett.
Here.
Councillor Clemmer.
Here.
Councillor Labarge.
Here.
Councillor Maori.
Here.
Councillor Moulton.
Here.
Councillor Perry.
Here.
And Councillor Rothenberg.
Here, and I like your haircut, Councillor Maori.
Council President, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Tonight's highlights: an order to allow wine and malt license conversion to all alcohol, an order temporarily suspending the effect of certain ordinances to support outdoor dining, an ordinance relative to crosswalk parking prohibition enforcement, and an ordinance permitting residential conversion of existing non-conforming historic accessory structures. First, we have an announcement. Announcement of tax classification hearing. Per Mass General Law, Chapter 40, Section 56, the Northampton City Council will hold a public hearing on Thursday, November 6th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. in Council Chambers, 212 Main Street, Northampton, Massachusetts, to discuss the percentages of the local tax levy to be borne by each class of real and personal property within the City of Northampton for fiscal year 2026. Instructions for accessing the hearing remotely may be found on the November 6, 2025 City Council agenda to be posted on northamptonma.gov no later than 48 hours prior to the meeting. The City Council will hear all persons who wish to be heard thereon. So next is public comment. If you wish to make a public comment, you can sign up on the sheet at the podium. If you're on Zoom, you use the raise hand feature in the bottom menu bar. And if you're having trouble raising your virtual hand, you can turn on your video and physically raise your hand. If you want to submit a written public comment, you can email it to citycouncil@northamptonma.gov, and it will be sent to all councilors and will be part of the public record. So I'm going to alternate between people in the room and people on Zoom. And before you begin, please state your name and your city or town for the public record. To ensure everyone has an equal opportunity to speak, the council limits comments to a maximum of 2 minutes. After 2 minutes, we will ask you to please finish your sentence. According to council rules, we don't respond during public comment. It is your time to speak. And our rules also state that councilors and members of the public shall conduct themselves with civility and respect at all times. You can speak on any topic. It doesn't need to be an item on the agenda. And all comments are to be directed to the council. We'll start in the room, and the first person is Claire. Is the green light on there?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Hi, I'm Claire Lobdell. I live in Northampton. The thing that I wanted to talk about, actually, you and I spoke about this before. So on the sign-up sheets, it asks for your address. And I've also noticed that when you online where the directions tell you how to submit public comment, it also asks for address. I was wondering if you could change that anywhere that exists to just town or city. And also I've noticed that like if you submit public comment via email, your whole email is up there, including your email address. So the reason that I'm asking for this, and for actually if you submit email public comment, for the email address to be redacted, is because I think, like, especially in the last 6 months or so, the awareness of how toxic doxing has really, come to the forefront. It's always been an issue. I know you all have had people show up at your houses, but I think whatever we can do to, like, minimize that risk for people, sharing their thoughts in public would be a good thing. So thank you.
Thank you. No one has a hand on Zoom yet, so we'll go to Phil. Welcome.
Hello. My name is Phil Wilson from Northampton. Almost everyone in this room knows that the town of Northampton purchase of the First Baptist Church for an alleged resilience hub for over $3 million stinks to high heaven. I read from a memo sent by Planning Board member Wayne Fiden to Bennett Franklin Real Estate requesting an appraisal in 2022. Quote, the building is in amazing shape and a full renovation was 95% complete with the sheetrocking and reinstallation of plumbing fixtures left to do. We love the condition because it allows us to customize the building to our needs. Unquote, bullshit. Fiden's description of the church was carefully contrived, an unequivocally fraudulent pack of lies. Fiden dog whistled to Bennett Franklin the appraisal price he wanted, and he got it. Many have informed me that the church is in shambles. It remains as an unrenovated public eyesore to this day. UMass professor Rutherford Platt noted that the church has no parking, that it is at a dangerous intersection and would require expenditures in the millions. The mayor has never been held accountable, he says. Others have claimed it has no elevator, no stairs, no kitchen. One eyewitness emailed me that the floor slopes steeply. Collier's Valuation and Advisory Services in Boston set the church value at $1.6 million. The purchase for over $3 million in a town that can't afford to pay school staff is flagrantly an act of political fraud. The question isn't about the wisdom of the purchase, but about the motive. What favors, I wonder, did Mayor Sierra owe Eric Sewer, a man whose local reputation would embarrass the worst of Charles Dickens' villains? We really don't know. We don't know anything, do we? Maybe there is an honest, reasonable explanation, but no one in this room believes that. Do you? As a Northampton voter, I demand that Mayor Sierra resign immediately. This is the mayor's Baptist church gate, a scandal, an act of public fraud with no resolution but resignation. How can we possibly go forth with a highly mistrusted Picture Main Street project?
That's time. If you could finish your sentence.
Tainted by unexplainable gaffes. Thank you.
Thank you. Next. Sorry, it begins with a D. Flynn.
Oh, boy. Well, my name is Deb Flynn. I own Eastside Grill at 19 Strong Ave, and I'm here to talk about outdoor dining. I can't say enough of good things about the city and how wonderful the city's been towards every business, every restaurant, and every retail business on Strong Avenue. If it wasn't for shutting down that street when they shut it down in 2020, I don't know if I would still be here. But because of the city let us shut it down and let us do what we wanted to do with that space, it wasn't just for an outdoor dining space. It wasn't just tables and chairs on a street. It became a ground for families to come down there, have a coffee, have a sweet, have a dessert, have a dinner at one of the restaurants, have a cocktail, and enjoy their families. It was a place where people could gather and get away from it all with their kids, with their friends, and it's been nothing but really good for the neighborhood and for the community and for the city. And we really appreciate everything that the city, the mayor, the staff of the mayor, and everything that everyone else has done for us. And that's all I'd like to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, is it AMIT? Welcome.
My name is Amit Kanoja, and my family owns the Indie House, and we're from Northampton. Just speaking in support of the outdoor dining. The city's been great in providing what we've needed. I second what Deb's saying. At a time when different cities around the country were charging restaurants to, give barriers out for outdoor dining, the city hasn't done that, and that's been hugely beneficial to all of us. There's still, people are still a little COVID shy, and we have seen a huge plus from the outdoor dining, and I just want to thank the mayor and the city for doing what they did. They could have easily followed the footprint of Boston or New York and charged restaurants $10,000 a season for that, which would have been detrimental, and they haven't. And I hope this would continue. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next is Isaac.
Hello, esteemed council members. My name is Isaac Weiner. I'm an owner of Familiar's Coffee and Tea in the Florence Pie Bar, vice chair of the Downtown Northampton Association, and I help run events like Summer on Strong and Market Street Market. I'm here today to voice our support for the ordinance temporarily suspending the effect of certain ordinance in response to efforts to support renewed economic recovery. Outdoor dining programs like Summer on Strong continue to drive the economic vitality and longevity of our downtown. While most other municipalities across the Commonwealth seem to have rolled back their outdoor dining initiatives, Northampton has stayed at the forefront of this and has shown what true public and private partnership can look like. We continue to face economic uncertainty now perhaps more than ever, and as business owners, we know that things are still not normal and perhaps will never be again. Programs like this allow Northampton to be a beacon in the valley, calling residents and tourists to come enjoy our downtown retail shops and restaurants in safe and welcoming public spaces. Not a day goes by in the summer without someone telling us how much it feels like a small piece of Europe downtown and how thankful they are that we, along with our partners in the mayor's office and DPW, continue to have Summer on Strong. For better or worse, many businesses in town now build their year-round outdoor dining. We certainly do down in Ward 3 on Strong. Losing something like Summer on Strong or any outdoor dining would significantly kneecap our businesses, requiring us to cut back staffing and would have the additional impact of greatly reducing receipts and meals tax revenue for the city. As we approach a project like Picture Main Street, it is so important that we continue to support businesses and signal to our community that we have not just small businesses' best interest in mind, but community space, collaboration, and the enjoyment of our city infrastructure as people and not just as cars in new and dynamic ways. Thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to continuing work together on these initiatives and on how we can maintain and grow this vital economic lifeline for small businesses and our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Chris. Welcome.
My name is Chris Stratton, and I'm running to represent Ward 6 in this council. Like those contesting most seats this year, I am running because this body has failed to serve the people of Northampton as an independent, representative branch of government. With brave exceptions, you have failed to put the people of Northampton ahead of controversial agendas. You have failed to understand the impact of your votes on your constituents. You have allowed the mayor to understaff our schools and essential services. And you have done so while leaving recurring revenues on the table, resulting in large surpluses year after year. Surpluses which you treat with mock surprise, one-time money, which can only be used on a project, when it was actually recurring revenue we could have used for people. In the previous term, you paid Eric Sewer $3 million for an unusable church. You endorsed and continue charging headlong into a dangerous, impractical, user-hostile, and unwanted do-over of Main Street. On November 4th, the people of Northampton will go to the polls. But this year, they will decide their votes not just on the candidates as individuals. This year, our election is a referendum on the priorities of our city, on what sort of community we choose to be. Will we be a city which prioritizes its people, a city which prioritizes its seniors and its children? Or will we elect a government which ignores the consequences for people and lines up instead to serve the agendas of profit-driven developers and originally well-meaning but factually ignorant extremists? Will we be a city which ties itself into knots, pursuing a doomed quest to remake ourselves in pale imitation of Cambridge or New York? Or will we be a city which elects a government that works for its people and enables HAMP to be the best version of itself?
Thank you. I'll see if anyone else has signed up.
No.
Would anyone else like to speak? Come on up. Your name and city or town, please.
Yes, my name is Daniel McColgan, and I live in Sunderland, Massachusetts, but I own Familiar's Coffee and Tea and the Florence Pie Bar. Bringing it back to a bit about outdoor dining, something that I think my wonderful colleagues and partner haven't highlighted quite as much as I would like to is just the simple fact that, as I understand the current measures being discussed, is that this would allow us as business owners to invest so much more into outdoor dining, knowing that this could be handled at a slightly more local level. I think something that has been fantastic for the past few years is how much investment has been put into outdoor dining, and it's, as they've said, really revitalized downtown in a beautiful and amazing way. And the ability to know with more certainty that this would happen again would really empower us as a business community to invest back into this city in a way that I think is really important. You know, putting in more of the infrastructure into our outdoor dining setups and really making them the best that they could possibly be, I think is invaluable. And with the uncertainty that we currently have of not knowing if that outdoor dining will be available again the following year, makes it really challenging as a business owner to know how much I should be putting in to that with only so much time to know if I can make that decision. So I do think that bringing this down to a place where the city maybe has more of a say and can make that call on its own instead of waiting from a state level or something like that really just allows us as a business community to work with the city more closely and invest that money and our time and efforts into really making this something spectacular. And that is all I have to say.
Great, thank you.
Hi, my name is Nathan Chung. I'm a Northampton resident, and I'm also Korean American. I grew up in the 1980s South Korea when it was taken over by a military dictator. And also in December last year, there was an attempt by President Yoon to take over the country again with the illegal coup. And he got impeached. Both his wife and himself, they're in jail right now. And I'm glad to see it happen that way. Sometimes life is pretty binary. There's no in-between sometimes. Sometimes there are a lot of different choices. Life isn't always a simple binary. And I understand it's very popular right now throughout the United States to have this very common populist binary paradigm, where it's the pure good common people versus the elite status quo who are evil and dishonest. Sometimes when you look at the people, their nuances, their lives, their backgrounds, it's actually sometimes people using those types of simple binary paradigms who are from wealth that they don't want to talk about, who don't have a full root in the community they live in, who might have moved from another place of privilege, but they pretend like they understand everything about the nuances. People don't refuse to talk to people. Somebody in my neighborhood and on Facebook, they use some insults to call me some names. At the same time, also saying that it's white supremacist talk to marginalize the minorities. But then, when I actually start speaking or writing, people tell me to stop talking because they don't find me comfortable. I mean, what I don't appreciate in this community and society as a whole, especially being a Korean American and Asian American, is that we get treated as props. We start talking. People use our identity to elevate their own ideas, but then when we actually start talking as real people, people don't want us to stop talking anymore. And I hope we are at least cognizant about what is going on. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next on Zoom is Daniel.
Hi, my name is Dan Brindell. For those of you that don't know, I just ran for mayor. I'd like to speak a little bit just about civility, which I know comes up more and more, even in these sorts of government situations. Having just run, I was very careful to run a very positive campaign. I tried to be very kind. I had built a reputation that I think was unfounded from my speeches to you guys of being, a blowhard or angry or confrontational. And so I was very careful to sort of push back against that, to lead with policy and to always talk facts. Bill Newman, who is, for people that don't know, sort of the arbiter of good taste, he hosts a major show on the radio and is constantly putting op-eds into the Gazette. I had a great interview with him that I really enjoyed. A lot of people warned me about him, said he's going to be confrontational. To me, I think that's just a great opportunity to be challenged and then to speak to people who are less, into what I'm trying to put out. So we had a great time. And I will say, just a few days before the election, that same host, having not interacted with me again and told people privately that I had been great, called me a solipsistic ideologue in the pages of the Gazette. This was a newspaper that fought me very hard to stop me from putting a very dry op-ed about the budget and how it would be possible to pay for schools. They really tried to stop me from getting that in the weekend paper before the election, saying it wouldn't give the mayor a chance to respond or defend herself. And then meanwhile, in the pages of that paper, they called me a solipsistic ideologue. Many people on both sides of the aisle compared me to Trump multiple times. I dealt with a lot of personal attacks over and over. And what it made very clear to me is that civility is a cudgel. What it is it's a way to turn an ad hominem attack
If you could just finish your sentence.
Into a policy point. And I think more and more that we do that, we are turning these ad hominem attacks on the public, on often people who are feeling like they don't have a voice or feeling suppressed. We are attacking them personally.
So that was time.
Ad hominem attacks.
Thank you.
By calling them incivil and by turning that into a policy issue.
Daniel,
truly,
that was time. I'm not sure if you can hear
I was
us.
told to finish the sentence. Again, this is the
You
incivility of this
finished
government.
finish
We
the
used to have 3
sentence.
minutes to speak. You guys have cut it down to 2. Then when I'm fighting to get a sentence.
Would anyone else like to speak? Come on up.
Hello, everybody. I'm Benjamin Spencer. I live here in Northampton. I am a candidate for public office. I'm running for councilor at large. I've had a really great experience over the past few months running for public office. It's been wonderful to get to know people in the community. I've been able to get myself in front of all sorts of different folks, and I am very excited for the upcoming election. So a couple things I wanted to be sure to let you all know is I've got 2 events coming up. On Monday, I'm going to be hosting a Meet the Candidate event. That's Monday, October 20th. It's going to be at the Florence Civic Center from 6 o'clock until 8 o'clock at night. Everybody is welcome to come. I really hope that I get to meet some new people at that event. At large is citywide, so it's hard to get around to all the neighborhoods, but I'm hoping this is an opportunity for people to come and talk to me. And then I'm also doing the 5th Picture Main Street walk-in talk that I've done on Sunday, October 26th. We're going to meet in front of the Forbes Library at 10 o'clock in the morning. Everybody's welcome to join me as well. We've got the plans for the redesign. It takes about an hour and a half, 2 hours. We take our time, we take breaks, we look at the current streetscape, we look at what's coming. Again, I really hope people will take me up on this offer of joining me either at Florence Civic Center on Monday or on Main Street the following Sunday. And I'd like to thank all of you for your work, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak? Okay, thanks very much. So that we move on to announcements from councilors and the mayor. And Councilor Rothenberg.
Hi, I just wanted to thank the business owners before they go. Anit, Danny, Isaac, Deb. You should not be having to take time out of your busy schedule to do this, but I really appreciate that you did. And of course, we'll do anything to help you advocate to have these kind of more predictable, reliable circumstances so you can plan your businesses around them. And also just because, like you said, it's been so good to the community. You have done so much for the community. And Ward 3 is so proud to have your businesses there, not because we deserve any credit for it, but just to be associated with you. So thank you for always going above and beyond for us. And always reach out if you need anything. Secondly, I wanted to just let the public know there was this wonderful forum. You may have heard about it in the newspapers or on the TV. It was on Tuesday at Forbes Library, and it was about the downtown redesign. There is a recording of it. You can reach out to me if you're having any trouble finding it. And it was just a fantastic night where we heard from what I thought was so interesting was a lot of bicycle enthusiasts with really diverse perspectives, which I hadn't heard as many of before. And I think it just showed us that there's really so much room for alternatives and continued dialogue, and there's not at all consensus from the public. So I really want to thank the Safe Paradise City Group for hosting that and doing that important work. And I really want to urge our mayor to be more collaborative with them, because they really are such a wonderful asset, just like our businesses are. There's so many non-governmental people and entities that put in so much effort and bring so much expertise, like Michael Caine has so much economic development expertise. And so his input on this downtown situation really should be treated with the care that it deserves and the attention. I made a similar comment to the school committee the other day about how the teachers are just such incredible experts. So please, I'm urging everyone who is in office and running for office to not overlook the incredible talent, intellectual and creative talent that we have in our city. It's just massive. So I look forward to everything that we're doing right now as a community to make sure that our government is really starting to open the doors and really welcome all of that back in full force. In the meantime, thank you to everyone who is participating as much as you can. I see you. You're doing an incredible job, and I just can't wait until we can work together more fully. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Clemmer.
I just want to remind everybody that this coming Monday, community resource meeting at 5:30, host Senator Joe Comerford will be the speaker, and we'll be talking about the finances and what's going on in our area. So it'll also be on Zoom, and hope you all can make it, or at least listen.
Thank you. Councillor Dubs.
Thanks. Just wanted to make an announcement that on October 29th, Wednesday, which is Wednesday, October 29th at 6 p.m. on Zoom, the Ordinance Review Committee will be having our meeting on the snow removal ordinance and also the lighting ordinance. So if you're interested, I encourage anyone who has feelings or opinions about those ordinances to come to the meeting and speak your mind. So yeah, we'll be talking about how we can better improve the snow removal in Northampton, and also talk about the lighting ordinance. So thanks. That's Wednesday, October 29th.
Thank you. Mayor Shara.
Good evening, councilors. Well, Halloween is upon us, so I have a few different events to talk about. Starting on Saturday, October 25th, so the Look Park Fall Festival at the Haunted Trains is happening. That's happening from noon to 8:30, and there are food trucks, live music, costume contests, a Boneyard Brews beer garden, and other concessions and face painting. And they promise that is not too scary. So I think sometimes it has been maybe a little bit too scary for kids. They promise this is not the case this time. And part of it, of that day, is the Northampton Parks and Rec Department is creating a kids land in that, as part of that festival, which is geared towards children 5 to 12 years old. And that is from 1 to 4. And you can get a $10 wristband per child. 2 and under are free, and there will be a bounce slide, carnival games, lawn games, arts and crafts, and a play area. So again, that's Saturday, October 25th at Look Park. Then on Halloween itself, which is a Friday, October 31st, there's the Downtown Trick or Treat, which is sponsored by the Great Northampton Haunt and the Downtown Northampton Association. That's 3 to 6 p.m. up and down Main Street. Participating businesses will have this year's trick-or-treat poster displayed in their window. Also be sure to stop by at City Hall because we'll have candy. And there are also some businesses who are participating who have pledged to make non-candy treats available as part of a Teal Pumpkin project, which raises awareness about food allergies and also strives to make Halloween a safe event for everyone. So parents are encouraged to look for the Teal Pumpkin poster or ask for non-candy options as well. And then after you do trick-or-treating downtown, please head over to Florence for the Rag Shag Parade, the longest continuously running Halloween parade in the United States. The gathering starts at 5:30 at Trinity Park, and there's a costume judging that happens there, which is super fun. Councilor Labarge and I have done this for years. It is a great time. One of the hardest things I do is trying to judge those costumes because they're all so amazing. And then we step off for the parade at 6 p.m., ending up at the Civic Center, where there are treat bags for trick-or-treaters courtesy of the Florence VFW, and there's also a haunted house at the Civic Center. So lots of fun stuff to do for Halloween. Thanks.
Yeah, I just wanted to remind folks that early voting starts this Saturday and goes to Friday, October 31st. So this Saturday is 9 to 3, and then Monday through Friday is 8:30 to 4:30. Again, the following Saturday, 9 to 5, and then Monday through Friday, October 27th through October 31st, is 8:30 to 4:30. And I just want to name that there's the No Kings rally at 11:30, I believe, downtown. I think it's at City Hall, so that might be. What'd you say? Oh, it's Pulaski. So you may, it may be not the. If you're down there, it's a great time to vote, but maybe plan accordingly. There might be some parking issues around, 11:30 on that day. But it's the second floor of City Hall. Super easy, super efficient. So happy voting.
Thank you. Any other announcements? I will announce that the Transportation and Parking Commission is meeting on Tuesday, October 21st from 4 to 6 p.m. And it will be taking up the bus stops ordinance that we referred last time, as well as, if we refer it, a ordinance about crosswalks that we'll be looking at today, and some all-way stops around the city. So take a look at the agenda there to find out more. Councillor Perry.
Big me. I want to let folks know that before the No Kings rally, there is a cleanup at Salvo House on this Saturday from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. So if anyone wants to come and hang out and help, a lovely space, come join us.
Is there anything you should bring when you come to those cleanups?
So they have grabbers and buckets for everybody and water. So.
Okay, thanks everyone. So we're now on to the consent agenda, and I'm going to read the items on the consent agenda and ask if there are any removals for discussion. The minutes of September 18th, 2025, and 25.332, appointments to the Arts Council and Housing Partnership for referral to city services, to the Arts Council, Holly Rowland, to fill a vacancy, and to the Housing Partnership, Christine Bryson, filling the position of Chris Palames. Are there any removals? I entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Councillor Elkins and seconded by Councillor Perry. A roll call, please, on approval.
Councillor Dubbs.
Yes.
Councillor Elkins.
Yes.
Councillor Jarrett.
Yes.
Councillor Clemmer.
Yes.
Councillor Labarge.
Yes.
Councillor Maori.
Yes.
Councillor Moulton.
Yes.
Councillor Perry.
Yes.
And Councillor Rothenberg.
Yes.
That passes unanimously. Brings us to financial orders on first reading. 25.329, an order to authorize payment of prior year invoices for Northampton Public Schools. Mayor Shara, Director Nardi, would you like to speak?
Yeah, there's 3 prior year invoices that Northampton Public Schools are asking to be paid with FY26 budget. These invoices were received just recently.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Then we can either refer this to the consent agenda of our next meeting or to finance.
Move to refer to the consent agenda.
Second.
For November 6th.
Okay, motion made by Councillor Moulton, and I'll give that second to Councillor Labarge.
Very specific.
Any discussion on referral to the consent agenda of our next meeting? Okay, roll call, please.
Councillor Elkins.
Yes.
Councillor Jarrett.
Yes.
Councillor Clemmer.
Yes.
Councillor Labarge.
Yes.
Councillor Maori.
Yes.
Councillor Moulton.
Yes.
Councillor Perry.
Yes.
Councillor Rothenberg.
Yes.
And Councillor Dubbs.
Yes.
Okay, that passes unanimously and will be, as Councillor Moulton said, on our November 6th consent agenda. Now on to orders. 25.328, an order temporarily suspending the effect of certain ordinances. Mayor or Mayor's office, someone
Sure.
like to present?
So first of all, thanks to the business owners who came out to support continuing to suspend these ordinances for Summer on Strong and outdoor dining and for entertainment. So you've seen this before. This is the suspension that allows those things to happen. And the reason that we bring it to you now is because we start planning right away for next year. And Summer on Strong has already had planning meetings for next summer. And during the winter when the restaurants apply to be part of outdoor dining. So we need to know that the space will be usable. And as Danny said, it really helps the businesses to be able to plan and make investments if they know for certain that they'll be able to do this. So this has been, as you heard, a really critical economic development tool. And I also want to thank Annie Lesko and Alan Wolf, who are the economic development team for the city, and all of the businesses that make the use of this space that we allow them to use by suspending these ordinances so successful year after year.
Thank you. Questions, comments? Councilor Perry.
There's me. Well, I know this has come before us before, and I've already spoken about this, but I just want to reiterate how thankful I am for the city for supporting our businesses in this way. I remember when I first was elected, and I went to municipal training, and other elected officials talked about Summer on Strong, and as people from the business community said, it makes our city a beacon, a place to come and visit. So I'm thankful for all that you've done. And again, I do want to thank the businesses. Deb personally took a lot of risk. There was a lot of planning that first year. No one knew what was going to happen. We weren't certain how this would work. And I'm so thankful that it has become sort of a staple of our city. And if I could, I would actually move to suspend the rules for passing this today. So
Yes.
I'll second that.
Is there a second?
second that.
Okay. Motion made by Councilor Perry and seconded by Councilor Dubs to suspend rules so that we may vote tonight. So that is on the floor. Councilor Maori.
I just wanted to ask a question, which is there a way, if we foresee that we're going to do this every year, is there a way to just permanently amend the ordinance to the order to so that you don't have to come back every summer?
Sure. So I think we actually talk about this in the order. Once the Main Street redesign happens, then we will do a lot of ordinance changes because the parking spaces will have changed, the space will have changed. We'll need to probably bring ordinances around outdoor dining that's now built into the infrastructure of the sidewalks. So there's a lot that will happen and change, but it doesn't make sense to tackle any of that in a more permanent way until we've made those changes.
Okay, got it. Because there will be further opportunities after the redesign in terms of space for businesses.
Yeah, so I think that there'll probably be a package of ordinances around how we want to use that public way for dining and entertainment.
Yeah, okay, thank you. And thank you as well to the businesses. It's very powerful to hear that feedback, and I really appreciate that.
Councilor Elkins.
Yeah, I just want to echo that it was really great to hear that positive feedback and to know that something that is, I think, so many of us, our families and our community, that we enjoy it, that it's working out for the businesses as well. Sometimes it doesn't always work out that way, so it's really nice to hear that this is very much a mutually good thing for everybody involved. So it's great. I'm happy to do it tonight.
Thank you. Councilor Labarge.
Yes, I am very supportive of this ordinance. I feel that just hearing what we're hearing from business people, I was down there last week talking with a couple of business owners. They are very happy about being able to have this outside dining. And that is extremely valuable here for businesses. So I support businesses, my family's in business, and I think this is a great thing happening here.
Thank you. Any other comments? I'll echo what folks have been saying. I'm love Summer on Strong. I'm so glad it's working out for businesses, and I appreciate all of the outdoor dining opportunities that we have. So let's go ahead and vote on suspending the rules so that we may vote tonight.
Counselor Jarrett.
Yes.
Counselor Clemmer.
Yes.
Counselor Labarge.
Yes.
Counselor Maori.
Yes.
Counselor Moulton.
Yes.
Counselor Perry.
Yes.
Counselor Rothenberg.
Yes.
Counselor Dobbs.
Yes.
And Counselor Elkins.
Yes.
So that passes unanimously. Is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Counselor Elkins, seconded by Counselor Clemmer. And any further discussion? Okay, roll call, please, on approval of 25.328.
Counselor Clemmer.
Yes.
Counselor Labarge.
Yes.
Counselor Maori.
Yes.
Counselor Moulton.
Yes.
Counselor Perry.
Yes.
Counselor Rothenberg.
Yes.
Counselor Dobbs.
Yes.
Counselor Elkins.
Yes.
And Counselor Jarrett.
Yes. Okay, 25.328, an order temporarily suspending the effect of certain ordinances has been approved. And now that that's 3 weeks sooner that those businesses can start planning. So next is 25.330, an order to accept Mass General Law, Chapter 138, Section 12D, to allow wine and malt license conversion to all alcohol. And would you like to present, Mayor Shara?
Sure. So this was passed and signed by Governor Healy, and it permits local licensing boards to allow on-premises wine and malt, or wine and beer, beverage license holders to trade in that license for a non-transferable on-premises all-alcohol beverage license. But it's a local exception statute, so we must vote to accept it here in Northampton. And we know that there are businesses who would like to convert their wine and malt license because when an all-alcohol beverage license has become available and the License Commission has had a lottery, there have been more applicants than licenses. So if accepted, wine and malt beverage license holders would that want to trade in their license for an all-alcohol license would be required to submit an application for a change of license category to the License Commission and would have to be approved locally, and then they would also have to be approved by the ABCC, which is the Alcoholic Beverages Control Commission, the state commission as well. So we are asking to accept this statute because we know that there are some businesses that have said this would be really critical for them to be able to convert to all alcohol. And happy to answer any both Alan and I can answer questions.
Thank you. Councilor Moulton.
Thank you. What will happen to the wine and malt licenses that are traded in?
They.
I think they just get converted. They're not traded in. The wine and malt becomes an all alcohol. It transmogrifies into the new thing.
Okay. So the answer is there will not be a net gain of licenses. There will simply be a different kind of license. And has the License Commission weighed in on the on accepting this?
Do you know if they've talked about it? I mean,
I think they are. I don't think we would be here, but I can
Yeah.
find that answer really quickly.
Thank
Ask
you.
some more questions.
Yeah.
Please. Sorry.
I'll let somebody else ask more questions.
Okay.
I mean, we were asked to bring it to you, and so I believe that they've talked about it.
Thank you. Councilor Perry.
I don't have any questions, but I will speak while Alan works. Just as someone who works in these spaces, restaurants, venues, and such, and I will state that something that is prohibitive to businesses is the lack of all alcohol licenses. We've had a number of restaurants who could not stay afloat because they didn't have an all alcohol license. Things like Wine, which left us. I think that if we're really starting to revitalize our downtown and we're looking at trying to invite people, it's nice for folks to know that they will have the option to transfer to an all alcohol license, because then they can start making business plans and prepare themselves. And not everyone will want to use an all alcohol license, because some people just prefer having a business model where they will have wine or beer. But I think this is a good step in the right direction, and I think it's going to help a lot of local businesses. So I am supportive of this.
Councilor Elkins.
So 2 questions. Is there a cap on beer and wine licenses like there is on full liquor licenses?
Not really in Northampton, because we have a local option to be able to convert seasonal wine and malt to year-round wine and malt. So you could start with a seasonal and then convert to a year-round one.
So then my second question is this effectively, which I'm actually in favor of, I think the liquor license, the cap on liquor licenses is one of the biggest, most detrimental things to the restaurant industry in Massachusetts, generally speaking. But, I mean, is it the case that anyone starting, even if they at least start with the beer and wine, that they will quickly be able to will this be true going forward, or is it just if you have an existing license that?
No, it would be true going forward. So they could go through that process.
So this is essentially lifting the liquor license cap.
I mean, I think it could potentially increase the number that we have. Although I will say that, so right now we have 15 wine and malt all year-long licenses, and we don't actually think that all 15 will apply or want to go through the conversion to all alcohol, based on the fact that they've had many opportunities to be part of a lottery for an all alcohol license and haven't participated. So we don't actually think that they're all going to convert.
Okay, thank you.
Councilor Clemmer, then Maori.
I just want to speak for some of my constituents. At Sub Rosa, they submitted a letter to us today asking for us to, just stating that they want to be, they're going to apply for this conversion, and I support them, and they are the only restaurant or beverage place in Ward 2, and they are struggling, and this would make a huge difference to them, and I'd like to keep them around because they are the only business there, and they're doing great. They're working really hard, but it's with rising costs of all their bills and expenses, this would be a huge, huge help for them to stay afloat. So I hope you definitely support them getting this if they're able.
And they are one of the 4 or 5 that have been participating in the lottery but haven't won an all alcohol.
Councilor Maori.
So is the cost of the license staying the same?
So that's actually something that the License Commission needs to discuss and figure out. There are conversion fees now, so they need to decide what if there would be a fee and what it would be.
Okay. And point of information, transmogrify, transform in a surprising or magical manner. The cucumbers were ultimately transmogrified into pickles.
Okay.
Thank you.
And I do have your answer, councilors. The License Commission has seen this, and they are good with it. So City Solicitor Seawald said that they did not need to officially endorse, but they have seen it and they support it unilaterally, the 3 of them, or unanimously, sorry.
Councilor Labarge.
Yeah, Mayor, if I recall a couple of years ago, we had great concerns, people who were just getting the beer and wine, that's it, and they were hoping to get a full license. I think, and Alan is shaking his head yes, and it was like great concerns in this city of just having the wine and so forth was not adequate enough. So I support this. I think this is a good movement here for everybody in our city of Northampton in the state.
Thank you. And you bring up a good point. So I think it was maybe 3 years ago, we applied for special act additional all alcohol licenses. So, there definitely has been a desire for more licenses. And so we, instead of this would be a way that we wouldn't have to actually go back to the legislature and ask for them in this way.
Thank you.
Anyone who hasn't spoken like to speak before I go back to Councillor Elkins? Councillor Elkins.
I was just going to ask, is this a referral to legislative matters? And-
No, this is an order, so no referral is necessary. We'll vote on it at our November 6th meeting.
Okay.
Councillor Moulton.
No, go ahead.
Okay. This seems like a really great change from an economic development point of view. I'm excited for it from that point of view. I do want, and I talked with the mayor earlier, I would like to hear from our Health and Human Services Commissioner regarding any public health implications. That was something that I brought up and actually voted against the special act that you referred. I think I was the only one to do that. And that was based on public health data at the time. So I would appreciate getting information from Commissioner O'Leary.
So I thank you for bringing this up with me this week, and we actually were able to have a conversation with Commissioner O'Leary, and she said that she is not concerned with the difference between wine and beer and all alcohol, and that she doesn't have an issue with accepting the statute.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And she's currently at her own Board of Health meeting. So
Right. Councillor Moulton.
Thank you, Chief of Staff Wolf, for getting the answer from the License Commission. I think that's good to know, since there are some decisions that they will have to make, as the mayor pointed out, about conversion fees and so forth. And they'll be handling the administration of the transfers. I do want to echo what Councilor Clemmer said about the Sub Rosa. That's right, correct?
Yes.
Sub Rosa letter from Kel Comenda. Very, very detailed letter that, and I hope everybody got a chance to see it this afternoon, about their business model and the very slim profit margin that they operate under, and how this will greatly increase their chance of survival. They've been open for, I think it's 15 months or something like that. So I too support this measure as another way of supporting our businesses.
Can I just note, actually, Alan just reminded me that they were also a recipient of our Vacant Storefront program. So, we've been working with them, and we're really glad that they're there in that space, which had been vacant for a long time. And it's really important that we try and help them do all the best business they can there.
Thank you. Councilor Moulton.
Was your question answered satisfactorily about the health impact?
Yes, for now. I think I'll probably reach out to Commissioner O'Leary over the next few weeks to have a conversation.
Okay. Then there's no further action that we need to take.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, unless there are any other questions or comments. Okay, this will appear on the agenda of our November 6th meeting. It brings us to ordinances not yet referred. 25.331, an ordinance relative to crosswalk parking prohibition enforcement. This is upon the recommendation of Mayor Shera and myself. And it currently I'll give a little story of how this came to me first. So I was going door to door a few weeks ago, and a resident brought it to my attention that a concern about the rail trail crossing at Chestnut Street. And there's a lot of folks that are parking down Chestnut Street now, and some of them park too close to the crosswalk. And the law says that you're not allowed to park upon any crosswalk or within 10 feet of either side of a crosswalk. However, it also says where posted. So there is no way to presently enforce the concerns, and that there are sightline concerns there, so that people are either both for drivers and for people using the rail trail. And so we talked about different options, and if we had to post every place where this was a concern, then that adds up quickly in terms of all the signs that have to be maintained. So we came to that removing the where posted section would allow, similar to, we have prohibitions against parking within 3 feet of a driveway, for example, and I think it's 20 feet of an intersection. So these are already rules that are in place. It doesn't have to be posted. This would become a similar ordinance. And I do think that education around these issues is important, so that people are made aware of what the laws are. So doing alerts, having it right on the parking administration page, laying out the most common parking concerns or parking rules would be helpful, just to get the word out so it's not unexpected. And Mayor Sherrill, would you like to add?
No, I'm really glad that this was brought to our attention. And I know whenever I get to one of those crossings, I get really anxious because it's, people are enjoying the rail trail. I think that this will help with sightlines, and I appreciate the Council President bringing it forward.
Great, thanks. Questions, comments? Councilor Elkins.
It's an elegant solution, and it needs to be referred, right?
Yes, both to transportation and parking, because it's actually already on their agenda for Tuesday, and legislative matters.
Right. Move to refer.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Elkins and seconded by Councilor Maori to refer to the Transportation and Parking Commission and legislative matters. Any further discussion? Councilor Perry.
Well, I will have another swing at this at legislative matters, but I'm wondering, I love the discussion about education, but I'm wondering if there are certain places like the rail trail where maybe posting these things could also be effective, and maybe a look at what that would cost. Not everywhere, but just certain places of trouble.
Right. Good point. Okay. Roll call, please, on referral.
Councillor Labarge. Councillor Maori.
Yes.
Councillor Moulton.
Yes.
Councillor Perry.
Yes.
Councillor Rothenberg.
Yes.
Councillor Dobbs.
Yes.
Councillor Elkins.
Yes.
Councillor Jarrett.
Yes.
And Councillor Clemmer.
Yes.
Okay, that will be referred out and likely come back to us on November 20th, I think. Yeah. Okay, that brings us to the last item on the agenda, which is 25.315, an ordinance permitting residential conversion of existing non-conforming historic accessory structures. This is in second reading. It was referred to the Historical Commission, the Northampton Housing Partnership, the Planning Board, and Legislative Matters, and it received a positive recommendation from all of those bodies. There are 2 letters of support, one from the Historical Commission and one from the Housing Partnership. And there was a slight amendment made at the Planning Board and Legislative Matters, and so I'll just point that out. It was in item D of the ordinance itself. It used to read, uninspected, non-permitted additions to historic structures built after 1975 shall not be included in the conversion. Clarified that it now would read, uninspected, non-permitted additions to historic structures in the setback built after 1975 shall not be included in the conversion. So we introduced this last time. I don't know if any folks got a chance to watch any of the meetings, but we'll just give a brief introduction again. So it allows residential conversion of accessory structures such as carriage houses, garages, barns that built in 1975 or earlier, and even if they are some of their footprint is within the required side or rear setback for residences. And so the setbacks are 10 to 20 feet from the side property line. It depends on the district you're in. And 20 to 50 feet from the rear, again, depending on the district. Most of 20, but in the rural district, it's 50. And there's a dual goal here. The first is historic preservation, which is it's an established goal of our Sustainable Northampton Plan, and these structures are included in that. And it's also to add housing, and which is another goal of our Sustainable Northampton Plan. And specifically, this is development that uses existing resources. You know, some say the greenest building is the building that already exists. So our goal here is to reduce demolition, preserve structures that otherwise, would take a lot of money to keep up, and adding this use gives them another resource for the owners to maintain these historic structures. And because you're not building in a space that's currently green space, you're just using something that isn't, we hope that it will reduce, or rather it will preserve green space. There's lots more to say, but I'll stop there and see if my co-sponsor, Councilor Elkins, would like to say a few words.
I'm not going to add very much except for to say thank you, Councilor Jarrett, for help working on this. Also, Director Mish we had a lot of conversations with Director Mish about how this would operate, and it's one of the things I've most enjoyed working on in my time as council. It's sort of nerdy and dry, and since zoning codes are the instruction manuals for people who are building the housing and the buildings that our businesses are going to be in, and there are real value statements in how we do it, and also people just need to know what they can build and where. And we have this, difficult situation in the city, which is that we have all kinds of really interesting historic buildings. My next door neighbor in their backyard, it was a broom factory in the 1860s. There's a house on Massasoit that they have an outbuilding that probably falls within this. That was an ice cream factory. We have all kinds of examples of different structures that are interesting. They're of use to the family and the community that lives in them. But as it stands right now, all the incentives work against maintaining those buildings. All the incentives work against. They're difficult to. There's not an incentive to maintain what you cannot fully use. And so then I've had conversations with, crazy things like, can I pick this building up and move it 5 feet inside the lot line, and what does that cost as relative to actually tearing down what's otherwise an interesting, useful, and historic building. And the other thing too is these buildings, if they are maintained, they're already being used, and oftentimes not to their fullest capacity for housing, and also they then fall outside of the realm of when permitting and building codes and things like that. I mean, not that they're not standard to them, but there's a disincentive to that. So we hope to bring all of this in to make these things that are already in our community, already being used, but not to their fullest potential, and bring them into our legit, I don't want to say legitimate, but our legitimate housing market. It's been a journey to get here, and I've appreciated everybody who's in all the different committees and commissions that have looked at this and signed off on it, because I'm really, really proud to be bringing it today.
Thank you. I just wanted to add a couple of things. You brought up the issue, or made me think of the issue of that some people are doing these conversions, but doing it illegally. And we'd like to provide a legal and safe path that would meet codes, because clearly there's a demand for it. The other was that one of the other kind of wacky paths that some people, and you can see this in some places around town, is that you connect the buildings by a covered walkway, and sometimes these are long covered walkways, and that's expensive and doesn't really. But then there's something about the zoning or that you can then go to the zoning board of appeals and maybe have it work, and that seems unnecessary. I also wanted to speak to the issue of short-term rentals. Thank you, Councilor Rothenberg, for bringing that up last time. I did some research since then, and so there's a great study that the Donahue Institute released a study in July 2025, and so there's some very interesting data in there on short-term rentals. So 0.5% of Hampshire County's housing stock is short-term rentals. This is essentially unchanged since 2017, while other areas such as Berkshire County have seen a lot of increase, but we've been relatively flat. And there was a dip during COVID, the worst of COVID, but it's come back up to about the same amount. In Northampton, we earned $52,184 in short-term rental fees, and those are used to support affordable housing. That's in fiscal year 25. And so I did some rough calculations, and based on the average cost, the total sales that's extrapolated from the rental fees, the average bookings per month, all of that data is in the Donahue report or in our reports. And it would appear there's about 100 dedicated properties in Northampton, which is higher than 0.5% of our housing stock, which 0.5 would be about 65. So that's the data. And these have certainly impacted rents here. I'd be interested to look at this issue holistically and wonder if a committee like Community Resources would be interested in having an in-depth discussion and looking to see if any action is warranted, the pluses and minuses. But a note about this is that these conversions are not going to worsen the problem in that they're adding housing stock. So whether that housing stock is used for a long-term rental, which I would personally prefer, or a short-term, it's not going to worsen the problem. But I would love to take a look at the whole system and see if we would like to make any changes. Okay, I think I saw Councilor Maori's hand, and then.
Thank you. Thanks, Councilors Jarrett and Elkins, for bringing this to us. I think it makes a lot of sense. Councilor Elkins mentioned several specific examples of the kinds of outbuildings that would be covered by this. I was surprised by the number. I believe I heard at last week's public hearing that it was some 900 structures in Northampton would fall under this. I mean, that's a huge resource. And in addition to the goals of preservation and more housing, I mean, we're giving people real options. And we both heard at the public hearing, and we've received written testimony from property owners who have these buildings which have been unusable for them, and that this will unlock those. So we know it is a real solution for those people. So thanks. I support this.
Thank you. Councilor Maori.
Yeah, that was basically what I was going to say too, which is I found the personal stories and comments really compelling. I think it was Summer Cable was talking about her mother-in-law who, they wanted to bring up to live with them, and it was really like this is the difference. Like it's not going to happen without this change. And so just giving that flexibility to our homeowners, especially in these times when so many costs are soaring, makes a lot of sense to me. Thank you.
Thanks. Councilor, I saw Councilor Rothenberg and then Councilor Labarge.
President Jarrett, thank you so much for that tailored report on the Airbnb situation. And I want to move to approve.
Is there a second? Yeah, but once there's a motion.
Second.
Okay. Motion made by Counselor Rothenberg and seconded by Counselor Elkins. Okay, Counselor Labarge.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I have a resident on West Hampton Road who's lived there for quite a while.
She's muted.
Oh, can you start over? Sorry, you were muted. You have a resident on West Hampton Road.
I didn't hear him.
Your mic was off, so if you just start over.
Okay, fine, thank you. So anyways, his house is way back into the 1800s. It's on West Hampton Road on the corner of West Farms Road. You can't miss it. And there is history in there, and it's registered here in Northampton. It's amazing about the inside of that house. It's unbelievable. You gotta take a ride over there. You'll see it's a big white farmhouse. He's putting the front porch on it. I mean, he's older, ailing, and so forth like that. That's his baby. And it is registered. He told me it was with our society here. And I told him about this. And he said, oh my God, he said, I gotta check that out. Because he could do this with this ordinance of what can be done on his property.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, sorry. Counselor Clemmer.
Just hiding in the corner here. Thank you. One of my constituents wanted to make his an office over his garage, and he wanted to convert it to an apartment. So either he and his wife can move there, or he can move there at some point, or have a caretaker live there. So unfortunately, he didn't fit into this benefit. He couldn't take advantage of it, but it'll allow people to age in place also, because they'll have a place for either family member to come live, or a caretaker to live. And I think that's a great benefit to people that want to stay where they spent most of their life. So it's one scenario that, it'll benefit people that don't want to move. So I'm for passing this.
Thank you. Counselor Perry.
I got to turn my microphone on. Well, I talked about this already in Legislative Matters, but I wanted to kind of piggyback off of what Councilor Maori said, is that I also enjoyed some of the testimonies from folks, but I also enjoyed seeing some of the different structures that are around our city. As Councilor Moulton said, there's a whole lot of them. And one thing for me in this ordinance that stood out was trying to at least keep some of the key defining elements, because and as Councilor Labarge said, there's history there. And I really like the idea of having part of our history become part of our future. So I'm very supportive, and I'm thankful for the sponsors for bringing this before us. So,
Right, thank you. Yeah, that in consultation with the Sarah LaValle from the Planning Department, and then at the Historical Commission, adding that line that says key character defining features shall be preserved to the extent feasible. And also there'll be an administrative change to make sure that the planning board gets the support from the Historical Commission if they need it. And that the Historical Commission will be able to send their thoughts on what the key character defining features to the planning board. So I think that will help everyone involved, because sometimes on the planning board, they're not sure how to apply a particular rule. So getting that help would be important. Would anyone else like to speak? Okay, we have the motion on the floor, and we can do a roll call for approval.
Counselor Moulton.
Yes.
Counselor Perry.
yes.
Counselor Rothenberg.
Yes.
Counselor Dobbs.
Yes.
Counselor Elkins.
Yes.
Counselor Jarrett.
Yes.
Counselor Clemmer.
Yes.
Counselor Labarge.
Yes.
And Counselor Maori.
Yes.
That passes unanimously. Thanks, everyone. Is there any new business? Okay, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion made by Counselor Perry and seconded by Counselor Labarge. Roll call on adjournment.
Okay. Counselor Perry.
Yes.
Counselor Rothenberg,
Yes.
Counselor Dubb,
Yes.
Counselor Elkins,
Yes.
Counselor Jarrett,
Yes.
Counselor Clemmer,
Yes.
Counselor Labarge, Counselor Maori,
Yes.
and Counselor Moulton.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
We are adjourned. See you in 3 weeks.
We will